to the special series of That's What She Said. I'm your host, Amanda Bryan, and I want to introduce a brand new series called Navigating the Current Political Landscape. And this is where we're going to come together to process, to heal, and to navigate the often overwhelming political landscape of today. My intention with this series is to create a supportive space for people to connect, reflect, and discern between truth and disinformation. It's a space where we can link arms to understand one another and how to move forward with the best possible intent so that we can be helpful and not hurtful. And before I jump in and just start rambling away, I want to give a special shout out to all of you listeners and supporters of the podcast. This has really been an incredible journey, and your support means so much to me. If you would like to help me and support the healing work that I do and the mission that I am on of spreading healing to all, please consider becoming a monthly supporter, and that link will be in the show notes and how you can do that. And if you've already become a subscriber or a supporter of the show, thank you so much. I am giving you the biggest virtual hug right now. And if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and YouTube. I am trying to phase out Facebook, but I am still on it. And YouTube is where I've been posting daily readings or somewhat daily readings. So go ahead and check out my YouTube channel or anywhere else on those socials. So as we're moving forward, I want us to remember that it's important together that we call out false narratives so that we can offer clarity amidst the chaos and explore ways to bridge divides with compassion and understanding. Right now, the news is like spitfiring like crazy. There's so much that's coming at us. There's so much that's unraveling at this time. And I think it's important that we are all approaching whatever this looks like and whatever it feels like in a very grounded way. Because healing begins when we allow ourselves that space to step out of those heavy energies and into a space of understanding, accountability, and growth. I recently just shared on my website, on my blog, I titled it something like the title of the blog is what if the biggest conspiracy theory is that there's no conspiracy theory? It's something like that. It's like my blog and I can't even think of what it's called. Yes. Okay. The biggest conspiracy theory is that there is no conspiracy theory. And you can check this out at amandabryan.com/blog. It's the most recent blog that I've done. And this is my experience, my own personal experience of how I almost got red pilled during 2020. And so, this series is designed to be a safe place for processing grief, finding clarity, and identifying actionable ways to make a positive impact within our communities. This time reminds me so much of the energy of 2020, 2021, where we were going through the pandemic. There was so much change, there was so much uncertainty, and it's really important that we ground into the world, because right now the world feels like a freaking dumpster fire. And I truly believe that if we can focus on collective healing, and that healing starts with ourselves, we can rebuild and create something better for all. So I'm super excited to give this introduction to this new podcast series that I'll be sharing with you guys. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast and talk politics with me, please email me directly at amanda@amandabryan.therapy.com. And I invite anyone from any end of the political spectrum to join me in a conversation where we can learn, grow, and understand one another better. This is, again, a really important time to be a bridge. And I'll be the first to say it's also a time to realize who you can bridge with. And some people are simply going to cross that bridge by walking over you. It's super frustrating, or it can be, but also this does not need to be a time where we're strong arming our opinions anymore. That was more like, I think that energy is left at the election, and now we know where we need to put our energy. Because remember, just like in our healing journey and just like in this time and space, we want to consider ourselves energy bankers, and we want to get an ROI on the energy that we're putting out. So if you're having a conversation with someone on the opposite end of the spectrum and they are just not seeing, like they are just giving you disinformation, or they're just giving you opinions, even if you're giving them facts right back, you're not going to get an ROI. You're not going to get a return on investment. You're not going to and if you do, I'd love to have you on the podcast, because I'm speaking from personal experience. I have tried to come at people with logic. I have tried to come at them with compassion. And sometimes you have to just realize, okay, this is not productive for either one of us. And you have to walk away and shift that energy into something that is more productive. Maybe it's making calls to your senator, writing emails, joining a local community that offers a space of resistance to whatever it is that you hold near and dear to your heart. Because there's a lot coming on. So just pick one or two things that really speak to you and focus on those. Because this is where, episode 1, grief and overwhelm in tumultuous times. So we want to explore, there's a collective grief that's happening for a lot of us right now, as we're kind of witnessing this political upheaval, this political and social upheaval. A lot of us are feeling a lot of things right now. And there have been some really great like memes and shorts that are going around where, if you've seen it, it's like breaking news in America over and over again. And like the dog's like looking all over the place. Like, yes, it is extremely overwhelming and easy to feel helpless. But remember that a lot of this stuff unfolds so quickly too. It's designed to throw you off, to suck you in, to kind of create this perfect storm in your brain where you don't really know what to focus on. And this is where it's important to hone in on, if you're really passionate about nature, then you focus your energy on any resistance for legislation that is going to be proposed, that's going to, defund some of that or whatever. If you're really passionate about helping immigrants, then that's where you focus your attention on. If it's abortion, if it's women's rights, if it's whatever it is. So we want to have that discernment so that we can process the grief and move forward at the same time. So we got to kind of have to like tap our head and rub our belly, walk and chew gum all at the same time. So I just want to share a few interesting nuggets with you. In the last recent days, several events have led to significant social, emotional, and political upheaval. One, the political polarization and mental health concerns. The American Psychological Association's 2024 Stress in America poll revealed that the nation's political climate is a major source of stress for many individuals. This heightened political tension has been linked to increased anxiety and other mental health challenges. So we can't really ignore politics right now. This is not really an option for any of us. It's not very helpful because ignoring it would be hurtful and not helpful. So having that, taking breaks for sure. Also, watch the news once a day. Listen to it once a day. What I have started doing is listening to one piece from an opposing end, like one piece from one end, one piece from the other end, and then something from the BBC. And I formulate my discernment through that. Now, right now, in this moment on February 19th, I have no idea when I'm going to get this podcast episode out, but right now I have been listening very closely to what is going on with the Russia-Ukraine war and how there's been this kind of like high school pissing contest between Trump and who is very influenced by disinformation. He's regurgitating a lot of information that he's hearing from Russia, and really throwing some harsh insults at Zelensky. And again, this is that space where we want to offer truth, because yes, we can say that we're in a war right now. We can say that we are in a war against disinformation, or the war for truth, however we want to put it. So it's really important that we acknowledge that the mental health of a for us to work with that energy rather than against it. That's part of what I want to try to offer in this space right now. So hearing the unfolding events that's happening, hearing the kind of like disinformation that's already starting to bubble in my head. I'm already like seeing like the memes that certain people are going to be putting out. It's so important that we remember to navigate these times as slowly as possible. Everything else is moving so fast. We have to maybe take a piece of information and sit with it for a moment. This brings me to number 2, the escalation of global conflicts. Ongoing international conflicts have intensified, leading to widespread social and political unrest. These situations have not only caused geopolitical instability, but have also deeply affected the emotional well-being of people worldwide. There's a term that you may have already heard called soft power. This is kind of the essence that America would hold in that through agencies like USAID, where we would offer this support in order to have an influence, a soft power over others. This is as we're seeing our government just get gutted from the inside out. We're losing that soft power. And so this is causing that ripple effect, because we are all connected. We are all connected. What's happening one place is affecting someplace else. And even if you are not watching the news, even if you're one of those people, and you know, I'm kind of calling you out a little bit because I think you need to pull your head out of the sand. If you're doing it, if your head has been in the sand, pull it out a little bit, right? These ongoing conflicts are leading to so much social and political unrest, and we want to alchemize that energy by being a source of stability, being aware of what's going on, knowing that at one point it was, you know, very privileged of us to not have to be involved. I saw a really funny meme too, or a reel on Instagram that was like, I don't want to be, it was a comedian saying like, I don't want to be this involved in politics. Like I really don't. I personally find it fascinating. I'm loving it. But I understand it is exhausting. And if we had some trust and some faith and some sense of the right thing was being done, maybe we wouldn't have to be so involved. Number 3 is environmental disasters and climate anxiety. This is another big stressor. Recent environmental disasters, such as the severe storms and wildfires, have caused significant destruction and displacement. The increasing frequencies of these events has contributed to collective trauma and heightened climate anxiety among affected populations. That's what I was saying. If you've had your head in the sand and not read any of this, because we are all connected, because we are all one, you are feeling it. I was just working with a client earlier this week that was saying how, you know, she was processing through all of these feelings and at the very end realized they weren't hers, they were her dad's. So we're all affected by this, just like we're all affected by the moon, right? The moon rules the tides. We're made up of about 65 to 75% water. We're all getting affected by the same energy here. So and then the 4th is social media's role in amplifying political stress. I'm going to do a whole podcast episode on how social media has like completely changed our politics. The pervasive use of social media platforms has been identified as a significant factor for escalating political stress. We've also seen other countries like Russia infiltrate through our social media platforms. So it's so important that we remember which lens we're viewing the world through. The constant exposure to political content and divisive rhetoric online has been linked to increased anxiety and mental health challenges. Your algorithm like take a minute to just go through your algorithm. What are a majority of your videos? And switch it up. I have been changing my algorithm to be more health inspired. So more body fitness, more home workouts, more meal preps. Um, maybe another way to alchemize this energy right now would be to learn something new. So learn how to sew. So maybe change that, or knit, or whatever it is. Start to change your algorithm, because at this point, I do believe that we can outsmart technology for now. I don't know what that's going to look like soon, but right now, what you're looking at is just being mirrored back to you through your phone. So if you're seeing a lot of hate or distress or sickness or judgment or whatever, be aware of that and then switch it up. Start finding, like, even if it's just things that make you laugh, like kitten videos or whatever. These events underscore the complex interplay between social issues and individual mental health, highlighting the need for awareness and support during these times of upheaval. Just like during COVID, when we all kind of had to like cling together via social media because we were all locked in our houses, it's really important that we're coming together to offer some resistance and some support during these. Social media often operates as an echo chamber. So, where algorithms prioritize the content that aligns with users' existing beliefs. This creates a feedback loop that can heighten political stress, entrench divisions, and limit exposure to diverse viewpoints. The rapid spread of misinformation further complicates public understanding and contributes to heightened emotional reactions. So, what are some ways to gather information and stay curious without reinforcing bias? I mentioned a few, and I'm going to give you a few more now. So, one, diversify your news sources. Follow a variety of media outlets, including those with different political leanings, to gain a balanced perspective on current events. It's also a space to offer non-judgment. Engage in active listening. Approach conversations with a genuine intent to understand rather than to convince or debate. And I will be honest, I was on the debate team in high school. This one is super hard for me. I love, love, love to debate. And sometimes I really have to tap into that throat chakra and say, now is not the time. You have to listen. Ask open-ended questions. I'm going to make a blog post on this for all of us so that we can have these open-ended conversations with anyone in a safe space. Another way to gather that information and to stay curious is join discussion groups with diverse perspectives. Participate in forums or community events that encourage respectful dialogue across different viewpoints. And this is probably like, this should be the golden rule: fact check information. Use reputable fact-checking websites like Snopes, factcheck.org, or PolitiFact to verify information before sharing or before even forming your strong opinions. Also, let your opinions be flexible. I know I've had to. Another little nugget is to set media boundaries. So allocate specific times for news consumption to avoid that doom scrolling, which can reinforce stress and confirmation biases. I would say you only need to watch the news once a day, right? Maybe wait till the end of the day, so all the news from whatever has happened on the other side of the world makes its way over here. But give yourself just like, that hour or whatever it is to collect that information, and then set it aside. Use your time wisely. On the back of that, you want to practice mindfulness in information consumption. So as you're looking at the news, as you're looking at social media, notice the emotional reactions that you're having when you're reading or you're hearing the news, and take a step back to assess the source and the context objectively. Notice what it's bringing up into you, what's happening, what's your history on this. I also invite you to read thoughtful, long-form journalism. I have a whole new respect for journalism. Seek out in-depth reporting that provides context and multiple perspectives rather than relying solely on the headlines or snippets. So podcasts are a great way. Substack, great way to go and find some of those journalists that are really boots on the ground and relaying information. Another thing is to explore global news outlets. International media often provides a fresh lens on the US centric issues, offering valuable perspectives. I personally like watching BBC or listening to BBC. And engage with curiosity practices. Approach different opinions as opportunities to learn rather than as challenges to defend personal beliefs. Again, this is one of those gray areas where if someone's telling you a blatant lie, you're allowed to, say, well, that's a blatant lie. I'm going to call that for what it is. But if somebody has a way to diffuse them, I'm going to be like, well, tell me your opinion on it. And then I'll tell you my opinion on it. We also want to acknowledge the emotional toll of staying informed and how to set boundaries for your mental health. And lastly, practicing grounding exercise to process the grief and to build resistance. Grounding through exercise, movement, root chakra meditations, hiking, walk, anything that's going to bring the energy from up to down. Staying informed is essential, but it can come at a significant emotional cost. News cycles are designed to capture your attention, often amplifying fear, anger, and outrage. And it's okay to recognize when consuming information becomes emotionally overwhelming. So here's a few ways for you to care for your mental well-being while staying informed. One is to create news-free zones. Dedicate parts of your day, like mornings or meals, to being tech-free. So this is when you've got no phone, no laptop. It's just you and your meal, or you and you. Prioritize positive content. Balance your news with uplifting content or those kitty videos, whether it's nature, documentaries, comedy, or inspiring podcasts. Learn something new. Talk about your feelings. Share your reactions to heavy news with trusted friends or loved ones for emotional processing. We really need to be acting as a village right now. I've already mentioned several times using grounding techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, physical movement to release built up emotional tension. As a massage therapist, I like to say we hold our issues in our tissues. So getting a massage is also a wonderful way. Any type of self-care. And stay action-oriented. Engage in community activism or volunteer work to channel these feelings of helplessness into meaningful change. Some of it can be as simple as printing off of websites like information cards like Know Your Rights for Immigrants, and you can just like hand those out or put them, in local bathrooms or whatever. And never ever sell short seeking professional support. Therapy can be invaluable for those feeling overwhelmed by global and political events. That's all I got for you today on how we are going to navigate the current political landscape together. We really are going to be okay. We've been in this space before. I love history. I'm reading a book right now on ancient history, and we have seen this over and over and over again. And we always want to be learning from our history. And ask yourself at the end of the day, am I being helpful or am I being hurtful? And allow those to drive all of your actions moving forward. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I look forward to having more political chats with you.